Hello everybody, I'm SolitaryFalcon, and today I'll be going through the worst levels in LEGO Indiana Jones 2. In my last video, I went through the best levels in the game, so do check that out on the channel. So I'll be choosing one level from each of the 6 chapters, and I've based these on how disappointing these levels are, the design of the levels, and how frustrating they are to play through. Do let me know in the comments the worst level in LEGO Indiana Jones 2, and if you've enjoyed today's video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you want more LEGO content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Right then, let's get into it. I personally believe that Raiders of the Lost Ark has some of the best levels in the game, so choosing the worst one was quite difficult, but I have decided to go with After the Ark. So all the vehicle levels are pretty much the same, where you destroy wave on wave of enemies, and it isn't that complicated. After the Ark sees you having to hit the jeeps, and I do like using the power-ups to ram into them, but it gets annoying when you constantly keep flipping over and have to get back up again. Also, I wasn't a fan of having to change vehicles to destroy a certain enemy, like using the trucks to destroy the bigger vehicles, although the ones with guns on them are pretty good. The final section is rather straightforward, as all you do is use a truck to crash into the vehicle carrying the Ark, and jump into it, and the level is pretty much finished. Compare it to the first Indiana Jones game, where we fight enemies on top of the vehicles, is a much better version than what we got. After the Ark is not terrible, but it can be frustrating, and the weakest level from Raiders. I mentioned in my best levels that the Temple of Doom has 2 clear bad levels, that being Monkey Mischief and Molar Rampage, but the level I've chosen to be the worst is Molar Rampage. So LEGO Indiana Jones 2 has a weird interest in making the final bosses a giant monster, which, before you ask, no, it did not happen in the movies. So Molar Rampage is really straightforward, as you have to pick up these warp balls that just happen to be near you and throw them at the boss while avoiding his attacks. You have to switch to Short Round, who knocks Molar Ram off the top, and then use Indy's whip to pull the monster apart. They really have gone to 2 extremes with the Molar Ram boss in both Indiana Jones games, but the first game was confusing and you really did need a guide to look up. The second game is so simple and not complicated at all. Molar Rampage is a terrible boss and one of the worst levels in the game. Similar to Raiders, The Last Crusade has some really good levels, but the worst one has to be Trial and Terror. So this one is similar to Molar Ram, where you have a giant boss to fight. Now the opening to this level is really good, where you have to navigate the traps and fight Donovan by pulling the spikes, not to mention the puzzle on the floor. However, the final section is why the level is so bad. So Donovan drinks from the wrong cup and gets transformed into this giant tornado creature, which again did not happen in the film. And all you have to do is dig with Salah and pull from the walls these silver objects so the boss can pull them into him, and then you have to use a bazooka to blow them up, and that is pretty much it. Trial and Terror starts off really well, but it's such a shame that the ending is so poor, and that is why not only is it a bad boss, but a bad level. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull Part 1 has a level that is probably among the worst in the entire game, and that is Crane Train. The final level of Part 1 doesn't follow the trend of the game of fighting giant monsters in the final level. Instead, you are fighting a soldier in a train on a train. So you have to swing to the other side to pull the cranes so that you can hit them, and then have to repair one of them so that Indy can swing across to defeat the enemy. And that is pretty much it. The level is surprisingly short, that you can complete it in around 2.5 minutes. It's also quite boring when compared to the other great levels in the chapter, such as Doomtown or the fight in the cafe. Crane Train is a terrible level. I wasn't a big fan of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull Part 2 levels, with the final one being the best by far, but in terms of the worst, it has to go to Peruse Cell Perusal. So this level doesn't have too much going for it, with some okay puzzles. The first section is about navigating the corridor with Mutt repairing objects and using Indy's whip. The final section is all about finding the map to the Crystal Skull by doing more puzzles, although they are simple. I think the level suffers by not being engaging, especially when you compare to the other opening levels, such as the first level in the game where you are in the hangar fighting the Russian, the one in Raiders where you fight the boss in a bar, and even the opening to Last Crusade. In contrast, Peruse Cell lacks anything to make it exciting or fun. A disappointing level, Peruse Cell Perusal is one of the worst levels in the game. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull Part 3 has one of the worst bosses and is the final level in the game, that being Actor Ambush. I know, another boss fight makes the list, but this one is truly the worst. So what you have to do is use both characters to jump onto these buttons, but whereas in other LEGO games the other player will automatically follow an instruction, here you have to manually control both characters, but the worst bit is the middle section. So you have to use Indy's whip and Marion's high jump to reach the platforms, but Agent Spalker starts shooting an energy beam which is so devastating, it's brutal, and it gets so frustrating when you have to wait for the platform to use Indy's whip, and sometimes it doesn't even work. The final section is pretty much the same as Donovan's boss fight, where you have to use a bazooka to destroy silver objects. I really do not like this boss fight, which is why it is among the worst levels in LEGO Indiana Jones 2. So those were the worst levels in LEGO Indiana Jones 2. Do let me know in the comments which level is the worst, and if you've enjoyed today's video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you want more LEGO content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to see you all very soon.